So we're seemingly getting more bullish by the day. Here we have Michael Saylor entering the Bitcoin race. Not that he ever left, but he's now levering up, utilizing his Bitcoin as collateral to take out a loan to buy up more Bitcoin. So Do Kwon, you have a bit of a race on your hands here with Mr. Saylor, $205 million of Bitcoin being added. And this means that the BTC chart is looking rather healthy right now, and hence the altcoins are likely to run very hard. We're seeing the early innings of this as more people will allocate to the market here. So I want to concentrate in today's video on the gaming and metaverse sector, a sector that got hit the hardest. It did pump last around October, November time with a real big bull run there. So I expect this one to be a slight laggard, but really play catch up. And with the small market caps in the gaming coins and the illiquidity of them as well, they can really run pretty hard. So going to go over some of my thoughts in this today and some of the coins I've allocated to. On top of this as well, to add more bullish fuel to the fire, we have this Grayscale gearing up for a legal battle with the SEC over a Bitcoin ETF. They're pretty much saying if you don't give us the ETF, a spot ETF that is, then we're going to sue. And a decision on that by the SEC for their ETF application is July 6th. So Q2 looking pretty good, going even into Q3 there if that is a July date. So pretty epic stuff to see. And as you can check from the chart here, Bitcoin now spiking up to around 48,000 bucks, right around that yearly open that we saw back there. So this looks super bullish to me, in my opinion. We broke through that key resistance, absolutely showed it the back door, and now we're charting a path towards the 50k region again. So nice big round numbers coming up upon here, and I think this means we're going to see a lot of bid for the altcoins, a lot of liquidity flowing from the larger caps to the mid caps and small caps, the same cycle that we see time and time again in crypto. And it does look like potentially we will have the highs of the range in play at some point over the coming months. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. We have a lot of liquidity and bullish momentum here to take full advantage of. So the sector of the market here, the metaverse, is a key area that I think will be huge in the future, possibly a multi-trillion dollar asset class in total, whether that be just crypto native products, but also ones from Web 2 as well, like your Facebook, Metas, etc. So a lot of metaverse is going to be created, and a lot of people will be spending a lot of time within these. So some of the mental models I've been looking at in terms of allocating to this market sector, I wanted to find projects that span more than just one game. So we're looking for mainly ecosystem plays, ones that offer variety of utilities for the tokens. Rather than just banking all on one game, you kind of put all your eggs in one basket at that point. So utility and infrastructure is what I'm after. So if you want to play it safe, Axie Infinity, Decentraland, Sandbox, Engine, and I even say DeFi Kingdoms are all very safe bets to do very well. DeFi Kingdoms, though, up 92% so far over the last 7 days, but a lot of bullish posturing around that one. And as we go through the list here, you can see the likes of ILLUVIUM in here. Vulcan Forged is one that I've recently just added to as well. And then we have the likes of UFO, YGG, the guild, and also Merit Circle, the guild down here, ones that have been on my radar for quite some time. But this is my actual watch list, and I'm going to jump into that in just a second, but first highlight this. So the big boys here, the multi-billion-dollar market caps, 4 bill, 4 bill, 5 bill, all of these ones have really started to move here, putting 15, 13, and 37% gains in over the last week respectively. So this is a lot of liquidity moving into the space here, and I think we'll start to see a real trickle-down effect, and you'll see some bigger moves out of the ones further down. This is my current watch list. I was going to allocate to Gala recently, but I've gone a little bit lower cap than that. I'm expecting to probably take a lot of profits quite consistently over the next month as we get a bit of a rip up here. I don't really know what the macro landscape has in store for us, so I want to play it kind of safe and learn from lessons in the past going to microcap, and that leaves you in a kind of situation either you do really well or you're effectively going to zero. So trying to avoid that and make some more sensible decisions. So Gala and ILLUVIUM, these are the first couple on the radar that I'm really interested in. Gala, due to the fact it has a whole ecosystem, even looking at music, NFTs, a partnership with Snoop Dogg, just crazy, crazy stuff. I think for a long-term bag, this one's going to be super, super good. ILLUVIUM here is a game. It is going to be a full built-out metaverse, but you are kind of relying on this game really popping off. But this is one I think will trend towards $1,000 plus over the coming weeks and months, as they have a land sale coming up that is pretty imminent. I think in the month of April that will take place, and they're expecting to have the initial release of the game as well over the coming quarter. So 662 bucks right now. If we just pull out the chart a little bit, you can see it was trading towards 2K just back in the end of November, and it started to see a bit of a rounded bottom here. Like quite a few of these charts that haven't quite yet popped off, this is like an early stage reversal. Some of the ones that we're going to look at today have already spiked up significantly, but as a bit of a laggard here, ILLUVIUM has some items on the roadmap, the land sale, the game release, etc., that I think can see a bit of a real spark here. So I would not expect this to be trading at just 3 figures for too much longer, and that is one that I'm already in and I'm staking. Got a nice healthy APY on that. Then we have the likes of these almost gaming studios like Ultra and then Vulcan Forge. Now this primarily is one that I've just allocated to recently. It's up almost around 14 bucks here, looking pretty bullish. Market cap $320 million only, and I expect this one again to have that kind of rounded bottom and really start to tick up here. In terms of what's on the menu, well, they have attendance at the Binance Blockchain Week coming up in Dubai, and I think they have a set on the stage as well with their CEO taking some questions and just doing some public speaking, so this could be bullish for them. They also have a land sale coming this Wednesday via the MyForged application, and more announcements, they say, imminent on the roadmap. A lot of influencers also are in this one, which is very good. You want it to be trending on the likes of Twitter, YouTube, etc. And we know Alex Becker is actually part of the advisory team for this one. He's mentioned it numerous times on videos, over 1 million subscribers. Once this gets on his lips again, I think we'll see a bit of a pumpage action. They also have multiple games, a trading DEX for gaming tokens, and a long lineup of upcoming games as well. So a real gaming studio, not banking on just one aspect or one single game. They've got everything under wraps, all in-house, plus an NFT marketplace, may I add, which trades in the PYR token. So there's just loads of bullish catalysts around this one, and you can see it kind of broke this downward trend line over the last few days and is really starting to tick up bullish here. We have run into a bit of early resistance. Coming into this region at around 14 bucks is somewhere that we have just rejected off, but this is kind of the first line in the sand. Maybe we'll cool off here over the next day or so, but I think once we break across this level, we're really starting to tick back up bullish, looking towards primarily the low 20s as an area for me to start taking profits on this one. Do remember this one was super bullish, but it did get hacked, and after the hack, this is what caused, plus obviously the market downturn as well, which caused it to really sell off quite steeply and maybe a bit unfairly. This one was really bullish prior to the hack occurring. Also a fan of the token in terms of the circulating supply to total supply, 23 million versus around 50 million in total. That means almost 50% of tokens are already out there. What we're seeing with a load of these gaming tokens, tokenomics can be terrible, which we'll jump into, I think, next, looking at Thetan Arena. So this is one that the gameplay looks epic on. It's a mobile game, a PvP MOBA as they say, and it looks really fun, really cool, really engaging, has loads of actual users over the last 30 days, almost 12,000 users. But the problem with this is the tokenomics really do suck. So if you just go over to the BSC scan, this is a Binance Smart Chain native project. Total supply 420 million tokens. They have the THG one, which is the investable asset, and THC, which is the in-game spending kind of asset and the one you get rewarded in. But THG is the one you would go for out of the two. But if we just go down here, you can see that they have this private sale lockup down here. So this is one of the contract addresses, and it just has loads and loads of private sale investors that get in tokens on a regular basis. So over pretty much a 2-week basis here, they had 859,000 times 3, so around 2.5 million tokens then 2 weeks later another 2.5 million tokens again, and probably more coming very soon here. Still 27.5 million tokens about to enter supply, and the general token supply issuance over the course of this year takes them up to around 300 million tokens circulating. So when I was looking at this one previously around the release of this, which if we just go back to Max here, you can see it released somewhere around September time, but the game didn't come out till I think it was maybe November. Well, back here, the market cap at peak was like 5.5 billion fully diluted valuation. 18 bucks was the token price, but you can see the fully diluted is now just 525 million tokens, which just means during this course of time, there have been loads and loads of tokens dumped onto the market. various emissions from pre-sale rounds, team token unlocks, and of course they want to bootstrap the game to start off with, means that they emit loads of tokens to incentivize people to come and play. So this one is a cool looking game. I really do like the look of the game, but the tokenomics are very, very poor right now, and I suggest over even the course of 2022, this is unlikely to really break out in a meaningful way. So back to the list here. Next up, I want to have a little look at SUPERFARM. As we know, SUPERFARM had the initial whitelist. Participants take part in the Imposters NFT drop just yesterday. The public round, I think, maybe in a few days' time. But essentially, you had a load of super tokens being utilized to buy up those Genesis NFTs for imposters, and also paying an Ethereum fee as well. I think it was like 0.69 ETH. And so what we saw was a load of SUPERFARM tokens get sent over to the DAO treasury. And I think they're going to be rather responsible with those. And that means less circulating supply. Hence, the price has started to pump here nicely. It is down quite a bit since the highs back when it was pre-sale at around $4 here, and then in recent history it went all the way up to around that $2 mark at a peak here, but we sold off quite heavily to around 50 odd cents, now at around 80 cents. And I think a lot of saw investors from this one, a lot of people like myself held it for a long time but finally sold. But it's one that's definitely on my radar for continued analysis into and seeing what Elio and the team have up their sleeve. It is one I'd like to get back into at some point, maybe when the NFT marketplace is a bit closer to being finished. Then we have the likes of Merit Circle. I'm super bullish on this one. The amount of influencers involved in this, but positive influencers I would suggest, and smart people who are into this protocol is quite alluring to me. And then we're starting to look into lower market caps, all sub $100 million here. Now the other one that I did add to, in addition to Vulcan Forge, was DeRace down here. Again, this one has been pumped like crazy in the past by Alex Becker, and the current market cap is around $50 million. They've released their V2, and with this they want to create their own layer 2 infrastructure and use DeRace token as the gas fee on the network, and also allow other games to integrate on top of the protocol and pay to use it via the DeRace token. So enormous utility, as they say, coming to the DeRace token. I think this one has a good chance of really breaking out from the downtrend, which I'll show you in just a second. And they just released their third hippodrome called the Emerald Gardens, essentially the horse racing track, now the longest racetrack they have, a new turf surface, and it has sponsorship and collaboration with CoinMarketCap, which can only be a bullish thing. As you can see, the CMC branding up there, and this is the whole hippodrome. They've put some real detail into this, and I think it looks damn cool. And of course, fully working product, you can bet on these horse races, you can buy the horses in NFTs, breed them, do all kinds of stuff, run them in races as long as they recover in time, and then earn the DeRace token depending on your positioning. That one again has broken out of this downtrend here, and I'm looking for it to come and maybe test somewhere along this region once more, around here, $2.26 say. Maybe even in the very short term here, I think we could get some explosive moves here if Bitcoin continues to get bid up and the money starts to flow back into the sector. That will be a 34% gain just from here. I did buy this one just yesterday, but I am bullish on this one, even though it's got quite a bit of negative price history here, and you might get some salty bag holders looking to unload. It does have a full working product, and it is in a gambling sector as well. So of course you get that kind of addictive nature, people utilizing the token to wager on the horses, breed the horses, all these different things. The token has genuine utility. In terms of safer bets out there as well, we have the likes of a full gaming layer 1. This is Phantasma or Sol. It's its own blockchain, which is really alluring to me again. This one is one I called back in like October, November time, and it did really well, going from like $1 to about $3. It did sell off quite substantially with the rest of the market here, dipping down just below $1, and now we're trending back up once again. But the fact that this is its own L1, and so you could have loads of different games building on top of this, and you just need one to be super successful, like we've seen with Harmony One Chain and DeFi Kingdoms, to really spur TVL and thus promote and utilize this token more and more and more. So I think this one's a good bet as well. Tokenomics wise, not bad. And then of course we have DeFi Kingdoms as well, which has to get a say here. It's gone cross-chain, gone from Harmony One over to Avalanche now as well, and they're building out a load of stuff on the roadmap, which is going to make this one a potential Axie Infinity rival in terms of market cap and growth. Some epic pools on this one as well. You can get in the Dual and X-Dual pool. X-Dual is just the staked version, and earn fees off the swapping between those two tokens, and that gets you in a nice LP position with a high growth asset and very minimized impermanent loss due to the fact you'd only be getting impermanent loss with a staked version or unstaked version of it. So I think in terms of LP provision in the gaming and metaverse sector, there's probably nothing better than the dual X dual pool, and it's doing really well on socials right now, scoring really high on Lunar Crush across all these different metrics for social engagement, etc. So I think this bullish posturing will continue here for DeFi Kingdoms. So that's my roundup of some of the games metaverse plays that I'm into right now, Vulcan Forged and DeRace, the ones that I've added to. Let me know which ones you're adding to down below. If there's any big alpha coming up, let me know that as well, because I think there's going to be some good opportunity to rotate between some of these games and metaverse plays as the weeks and months roll on. We got quite a few new games down here like Sidus, etc., that haven't really had their first run in. And if some of these are lagging behind early runners in the race here, I will be looking to make those rotations to try and compound those gains. So with Bitcoin ticking up, I'm expecting this sector of the market that has been absolutely nuked to really come back with a vengeance here. If you enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.